by her courage and by the types of work that she's been doing over the past 5 years. So it's slightly shocking in some ways what you're just about to see, but it sends the most powerful message about how we need to actually look at countries that may be suffering right now, but can actually turn into great jewels in the future. So I'd like to present to you Daisy Kedgen.
She's fine.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you're good.
I don't want to, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just I don't want to keep my butt.
No, okay.
You're fine.
It's what you do as a director. You have to set the scene and make sure you're ready to go. It's important to the audience actually more than to me to make sure that I've prepared myself very appropriately to speak to you. And I'd like to start by welcoming you and saying good afternoon to you all. This is probably the most distinguished and honourable audience I've ever spoken to. I have great honour and privilege to be amongst you all, the previous speakers today and yesterday, Your Excellencies, and Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed. I'm truly honoured to be among you. I would like to take this opportunity to share with you a story that might help you understand why, as an accomplished multi-award-winning journalist and filmmaker, who has worked for media organisations including News Corp, The Times Group, Channel 4 and many other organisations, covering everything from the Olympic Games as the first female soccer writer in Australia, to reporting from war zones and to peace treaties. And also as a successful entrepreneur who turned a floundering 100,000 turnover business into a significant $10 million turnover business. Why, where in reality I could live anywhere in the world, why I choose Lebanon with its exciting future and in spite of the tremendous crises and hardships that the country is currently enduring. So, I hope you will please listen with open ears and a kind heart to my story. And we're ready to go. To be seen, to be heard, to be validated, to be accepted is the greatest gift we can give any human being. Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed and Mr. Ian Callum Turner afforded me this priceless gift, and they are the reason I'm here speaking before you today. Thank you, gentlemen. I have seen, I have heard, and I accept the people of Lebanon, for they are my people, and they have endured nearly half a century of uncertainty, of trauma, of humiliation, disappointment, and suffering. So they deserve all that I can do to validate their plight. God has blessed me with several gifts: storytelling, compassion, honesty, as well as a strong sense of justice and courage. Combined, these values are potent and compelling. These are the tools that I am relying on to draw your and global attention to the reality of the crisis in Lebanon. These are the tools that I am using to educate, enlighten, and empower my people to use democratic, humane, and peaceful means to change our destiny. Our culture, our way of life, our future, our very identity as a diverse race that has lived harmoniously and hospitably and respectfully together for nearly 2,000 years is under threat. In 1997, Pope John Paul II travelled to Beirut to deliver the findings of a special synod on Lebanon. He defined Lebanon as a message to all humanity of remarkable coexistence, cooperation that must never be allowed to fail, that must never be allowed to be destroyed. We, the Lebanese, both who live in Lebanon, as well as the millions of expats who live around the world, of which I was one until I decided to move from Australia back to Lebanon in April, have not forgotten who we are. We still practice this warm and kind coexistence in our daily lives, in our villages, our workplaces, in our interactions with one another. But the deepening economic, social and humanitarian crisis is making life very difficult and making people lose hope and feel helpless and hopeless. My people have become desperate. A large percentage of the population are going to bed hungry, thirsty and humiliated every night. The hardships have become intolerable. I've personally witnessed and experienced this, the degradation of society, culture, and the rapid deterioration in the living standards, while the cost of living has soared. According to the World Bank, poverty has jumped from 28% in 2018 to 55% in 2020 and hit a staggering 82% this year. Parents can't find work, or if they have a job, are being paid 10% of their previous salary. Many can no longer afford to send their kids to school. Once, we were the most literate country in the Middle East. Now our children are paying the price and future generations will be impacted. The situation has become so unbearable, in fact, that in the last 2 years, around 200,000 citizens have abandoned the country, migrating to other shores, including more than 60,000 doctors and nurses. The country is spiralling deeper and deeper into chaos and crisis, born by a vacuum of will and willing to do what is necessary to get the country back on track. Many of us are trying to defend our way of life because we recognise, as one of the greatest statesmen of the 20th century, Nelson Mandela, taught us, alone we are strong, but together we are mighty. I have to admit, I was somewhat oblivious to the extent of the decay that Lebanon was enduring for decades. It was only after beginning work on my latest film, Enough, Lebanon's Darkest Hour, in 2016, that I began to see beyond the false facades that had been masking the reality. I did not seek, nor did I know the magnitude of the responsibility I was undertaking when God called me to tell this story. Nor was I sure what the story actually was. But I had faith in God and that He would reveal the story at the appropriate time. I just had to believe. I did, and He did. 5 years later, when the film was finally released in 2021 and won the Movie That Matters award at the Cannes International Film Festival, amongst a host of other awards that Ian has mentioned, I began to understand the true meaning of the message I had been chosen to deliver. I had not been called to make a movie. I had been chosen to launch a movement. I had been given a mission that was beyond my capacity to achieve alone, a mission that had to be shared with and shouldered by Lebanese inside and outside Lebanon, a mission that would call on a committed, collective, humanitarian consciousness to fulfill. In this moment, the movement for a free and fair Lebanon was born. imbued with the principles of independence, liberty, autonomy, egalitarianism, equality, sovereignty, self-determination, as well as democracy, justice, impartiality, and consensus. Our objective was and would be to restore, protect, and preserve faith and trust in Lebanon and for Lebanon, and the rights of all its citizens to live with dignity. To reclaim our noble mission as a unique symbol of ecumenical and cultural synchronicity, a land where the human reigns supreme, not the dollar, nor religion, nor status. The film was the vehicle that allowed the Lebanese to be seen, to be heard, to be validated, and their plight to be accepted globally. The movement would be the platform that would encourage the people to value themselves and to be valued. For the Lebanese, as many of you would know, are very philanthropic, very entrepreneurial, and they desperately want to be part of a successful world, and all of you can help us achieve this. The vision, the aspiration, the inspiration, the excitement in this room, that's what I want to see again in Lebanon. That's what I believe is possible for my people. This can be done, this will be done, this must be done. It was after launching my film in Lebanon in April, and after traveling around the country and speaking to thousands of people and seeing and hearing their truth, that we determined to found the Free and Fair Lebanon Foundation. Our foundation will launch in 2023 with the iPower project, which strives to lift the ground by providing grants to the most impoverished, most disillusioned, most vulnerable, yet most capable people in our country, and allowing them to achieve sustainable independence and financial freedom through their own micro businesses. We're applying Jesus' biblical teaching that if you feed a person, you feed them for a day. But if we teach, train, and mentor our people to fish, we will feed them for life. We need to teach our people to fish again by giving them the tools that they will help, and they will help hundreds and even thousands of people around them to rise from poverty and stand on their own 2 feet again. Lebanon might appear risky and dangerous to those of you who don't know or understand how to navigate around the corruption and chaos, but inward investment can be secure, and you can see this with China, the United States, and Russia, and other global economic giants investing billions in Lebanon. The values I want to create is that everyone can experience and enjoy the new, prosperous, innovative, creative, dynamic Lebanon that is growing. I am devoured by the culture, the people, and the values. I have the contacts and the ideas that can help you make the right alliances. I have done it for myself through building my businesses in Australia, and have decided that the iPower project, among many other initiatives we are studying, will create jobs, will create opportunities, change, and inspire hope to believe in a world that includes Lebanon as an equal and respected partner. To realize this goal, I call on you all in this room as guardians of human rights, commanders of diplomacy, sentinels of international justice, leaders of industry and captains of business, who hold high the virtues of ethics and honesty, and are committed to a future that is founded upon the principles of free and fair, rather than self-interest, to put your hands in ours and help let Lebanon live again. Let Lebanon thrive again. I don't need a job. I don't need a salary. I don't want to be a martyr, and I don't want to be a hero. I just want to change Lebanon. Will you join me in this noble mission? Thank you. And I'd like this opportunity to take 2 more minutes of your time to show you the trailer that inspired the movement, that inspired our foundation. Thank you very much. Sorry, you're going to have to.
Dear Lebanon, your location and your diversity put you at the hub between continents and cultures. You have an impressive ability to absorb hardships. Yet you rarely confront the causes of them.
Who the hell is responsible?
I still can't get the images out of my head. The explosion took me reeling back to the days of civil war.
At the end of the war, the warlords were given promises of public money.
We have the same politicians, the same ones who killed. They're still here, which is like, what?
You have so much vested interest in the system, which led us to this very tragic situation.
لماذا لم تبادر بهذه المواد المدهشة؟
And why didn't the president do anything about it?
I don't know.
Corruption is eating up everything in the country.
We have to buy bottles of water, which costs more than petrol now.
The crazy floating power station?
The system will not be changed from the top.
Elections are the only tool that we have.
I don't believe the voting process is legitimate.
So you feel confident with your decision?
100%. If we do not fix ourselves, the people will revolt against us.
We, the Lebanese people, are strong. Very strong, but we're stubborn.
What is your dream for Lebanon?
To become a nation.
Dear Lebanon, you're too important to let fail. We believe in the idea of Lebanon. The thing is, Lebanon, do you still believe in that idea? This is a question only you can answer.
It's a 90-minute documentary. It's very substantive. It took 5 years to make, and I'd love the opportunity for you all to see it. And we'll discuss it with Dr. Saeed. But thank you again for your time.